to start out with a few questions today. My first question is, how do you decide who to follow? Today we have social media, and there's a lot of talk about who has the most followers, or who do you follow, or who follows you, or how to get more followers, and all of that. How do you decide who to follow? As simple on social media, how do you decide? And for those of you that don't have social media, good job. But also, there are other times when you look for people to follow. Maybe at school, there's another student that you let make the decisions about what your group of friends is going to do. Or maybe in extracurricular activities, there's somebody who is someone that you tend to look to for guidance or what you're going to do or those kind of things. I think all of us in life have opportunities to be leaders and opportunities to be followers. We aren't always going to be the leader. So who do you decide? How do you decide who to follow? And then there are some times when, even if you're a shy or introverted kind of person, you are called to step out and be a leader. When do you make that decision? How do you do that? So my question, as we're going through the study today, is how do you decide who you follow? My other question is, what do you think keeps people from following Jesus? What keeps you from following Jesus? I think most of us would probably say that we are Christians, which means follower of Christ. So we have decided our whole life should be about following Christ. But it isn't. Sometimes we decide we're not going to do something that Christ has called us to do. That he would rather us not do that, but we're going to do it anyway. And what is it? What is it that keeps us from following Jesus? We're going to be in Luke chapter 5 today. We're going to read verses 3 through 7. He, and this is Jesus they're talking about, he got into one of the boats, the one belonging to Simon, and asked him to put out a little from shore. Then he sat down and taught the people from the boat. When he had finished speaking, he said to Simon, "Put out into deep water and let down the nets for a catch." Simon answered, "Master, we've worked hard all night, and we haven't caught anything, but because you say so, I'll let down the nets." When they had done so, they caught such a large number of fish that their nets began to break. So they signaled their partners in the other boat to come and help them. And they came and filled both boats so full that they began to sink. What is Peter's job? Or Simon? What does he do? He's a fisherman. And at this point, it doesn't seem like he and Jesus know each other yet. They're just meeting. And what is Jesus? He's a teacher. And then the teacher tells the fisherman, no, go ahead and throw your nets out again. Why would Simon listen to him? Why would Simon throw out the nets again? And we think about it like, I think these are really big nets, and it takes a lot to reel them back in. It's not just a doop doop, and that was it. It was a big deal. He had to throw it all out and then reel it all back in. And so it was a big deal to cast your nets out again. Now, Simon Peter could have been like, "I'm the fisherman here and I know how to do it. Don't tell me how to do my job." But what is his reaction? In verse 8, it says, verse 7, it says, "Because you say so, I will do it." Are there parts of your life where you think, "I've got this. This is kind of my thing. This is what I do. You don't need to tell me how to do it." Jesus God has the right to tell us what to do in every part of our life. Every part of our life. And so Peter, being willing to do it just because Jesus said so, changes his life dramatically. Let's keep reading in Luke chapter 5, verses 8 through 11. Luke 5, 8 through 11. When Simon Peter saw this, and this is all the fish coming into the boats, and the boats are sinking almost because there's so much fish, he said, when Simon Peter saw this, he fell at Jesus' knees and said, "Go away from me, Lord. I am a sinful man." For he and all his companions were astonished at the catch of fish they had taken. And so were James and John, the sons of Zebedee, Simon's partners. Then Jesus said to Simon, "Don't be afraid. From now on you will fish for people." So they pulled their boats up on shore, left everything, and followed him. What was Peter's reaction? When he sees all of these fish, when he sees this miracle of Jesus, what is Peter's reaction? In verse 8, it says, "Go away from me, Lord. I am a sinful man." Is that a good reaction? On the one hand, it shows humility, kind of. But it also shows that maybe he felt like you have to be good enough to be in the presence of the Lord. Is that true? We're never going to be good enough. We're never going to be good enough. Jesus alone makes us good enough. And so while it seems very humble, it also shows that Peter maybe thought that he had to be good enough. If you see God doing something big and powerful, if you see it, he wants you to be a part of it. That's his invitation to you to be part of it. So Jesus does this amazing thing in front of Peter, and Peter's like, "Oh, go away. I can't be near you." Are we ever going to be good enough on our own to be near Jesus? No. He makes us good enough. It's through him that we get to be a part of this ministry, this mission of God. Let's keep reading Luke 5, we're going to skip over just a little bit to verse 27 through 32. After this, Jesus went out and saw a tax collector by the name of Levi sitting at his tax booth. "Follow me," Jesus said to him, and Levi got up, left everything, and followed him. Then Levi held a great banquet for Jesus at his house, and a large number of tax collectors and others were eating with them. But the Pharisees and the teachers of the law who belonged to the sect complained to the disciples, "Why do you eat and drink with tax collectors and sinners?" And Jesus answered them, "It is not the healthy who need a doctor, but the sick. I have not come to call the righteous, but sinners to repentance." When Jesus called his disciples in the first story about Peter and then James and John, and then this one in about Levi, what did they have to leave? When Jesus calls his disciples, what do they leave in order to follow Jesus? Verse 28, and earlier in verse 11, it says, Levi got up, left everything, and followed him. Left everything. If you had to leave every single thing in your life right now to completely follow Jesus, would you do it? Like thinking through everything you have, is there something that you're like, I would take that with me? Would you leave everything to follow Jesus? These people are just going throughout their day. It looks like they were both at work. And Jesus says, follow me. And they drop what they're doing. Like in the first story, I wonder if they left all those fish just in the net and left and followed Jesus. I don't know what that looks like. How to leave everything to follow the Lord. If there's anything that you know in your heart you would not be willing to give up to follow Jesus, then that thing has become greater and more important to you than Jesus, which makes it an idol, and you need to get rid of it. What did Levi do as soon as he began to follow Jesus? In verse 29, it says he left everything and followed Jesus. And then verse 29, what did he do? It said he held a banquet for Jesus at his house. And he invited all his friends, who happened to also be tax collectors and sinners. Are we willing to introduce all the people that we know and all the people in our circle of influence to Jesus? This is what Levi did. He invited all of his friends to meet Jesus. If we are a follower of Jesus, we invite all the people we know to meet Jesus. Are we willing to do it? I hope so. I hope so. When Jesus reached out to his disciples, he had big expectations for them. He expected them to leave everything to follow him. He expected a changed life, a changed mission, a changed focus. But he didn't expect them to be perfect and sinless right at the beginning. Like Peter doesn't want to even join in the mission because he's not good enough yet. Get away from me. And Jesus says, don't be afraid. I'm going to make you fishers of men. He sees them as they are, broken, sinful, just regular old people. And he calls them to him. You don't have to be good enough to be called to Jesus. You don't have to be good enough to say, I'm going to follow you, Jesus. You have to be willing. And these men were willing to drop everything and follow him. And it changed their lives forever. They got a new mission, a new focus, a new life, because they got to live with Jesus. What do you expect of yourself when you decided to follow Jesus? Did you expect that everything might have to change in your life? Did you expect maybe, I'm pretty good anyway, so it's not really going to change my life too much. To truly follow Jesus changes your life completely. Even if you've grown up in the church, even if most of the people you know are Christian, it's going to change your life. It's going to change how you see things. It's going to change how you think about things. It's going to change how you hear things. It will change your life. Did you expect it to, or did you want to go on living the way you were living? If Jesus has not changed your life, it might be because you haven't let him change your life. Let him. Give your life to God. Follow Jesus.